Now today we're going over the very popular Fram oil filter. Specifically, what are the differences among all filters? We have the extra guard, the high mileage, the tough guard, and the ultra synthetic. So you have a number of different options when it comes to Fram, but what are the differences specifically in terms of the efficiency rating, how many miles you can get out of it, the recommended oil type, so on and so forth. So we'll go over all of that. And if you're interested in other oil filters, I'll include a link in the description box below for a playlist we have for not only these filters, but others such as K&N, Wix XP, AmSoil, Royal Purple, so on and so forth. And we'll just keep on adding to that list. So let's go ahead and get this spread out on the table, and we'll see exactly what we have here. Okay, so right before we begin, let me just apologize. I'm getting over a nasty cold, so my voice is a little scratchy, and I may be coughing here and there, but we'll try to do the best job that we can here. So let's just quickly go over a couple of really important things regarding the efficiency rating. Now, efficiency rating, that really means the filtration efficiency rating. And in other words, how well of a job it does in filtering the oil. So the Fram Extra Guard is a 95% rating. The Fram High Mileage 95%, Tough Guard is 99%, Ultra Synthetic is 99%. Regarding the recommended mileage, in other words, how long you can use the filter for, Extra Guard is 5,000, the High Mileage is 5,000 miles, Tough Guard is up to 10,000 miles, and the Ultra Synthetic is up to 15,000 miles on the Ultra Synthetic. One thing to note about the Extra Guard here, we have a separate video of looking at this filter after 6,000 miles, so 1,000 miles beyond its recommended interval, and these end caps were still in very, very good shape. What you see on your more expensive oil filters are metal end caps. So I mean, big difference here. And again, this is $5, very quick, $5. This is $9. So you right off the bat, you can see immediately the difference in the construction. Even the metal tube here on my right, this is metal. This, I don't think it's metal, the center tube. We'll go over that in a moment. But after 6,000 miles, this was still in very, very good shape. I don't know if it's not cardboard, this end cap. I don't know what it is, to be quite honest. But that being said, it was still perfectly fine after 6,000 miles. Okay. Now, regarding the oil type that they recommend, the Extra Guard is conventional. The High Mileage is conventional or high mileage motor oil. Tough Guard is your premium conventional or synthetic. An ultra synthetic here, this guy, they recommend fully synthetic motor oil. Now regarding the cost, this is again around $5 on its own. In other words, if you don't purchase it as a package with a bunch of oil. So $5 on its own. This could be close to $10. Tough Guard is around $6, $6.50, and the Ultra is $9. Now, to get really more in depth, what's the main difference? Now, as far as I can understand, or as far as I can see based on the research I did before this, the main difference between the Extra Guard and the High Mileage is really this component. Now, if we take a look at this, right here, we have the media. Now, this media, for both of them, they look to be exactly the same. This is glass cellulose media. Your more expensive filters will use synthetic, okay? So this is glass cellulose, but the main difference here again, as you can see, is this component. Now, this guy right here is the anti-drain back valve. Let me push this back so you can see this. This is the anti-drain back valve. On your lower costing oil filters, this will be rubber. Your more expensive oil filters, it's synthetic. Okay, silicone. The difference, or the reason why you want silicone, is this can withstand higher temperatures than this guy. The whole point behind this little gadget is it allows some oil to be left over in the motor, so you don't have a dry start. That's it, so you don't have a dry start. And then the fact that silicone can withstand higher temperatures is a nice plus, for sure, especially when the price difference between these two guys could be $1, $1.50. So it's something to certainly note. But going back to these guys, the High Mileage here has this little component. And the whole point of this component, really, the High Mileage filter really is designed for engines over 75,000 miles. And built into this little sucker here, you have additives. And these additives help maintain viscosity, reduce corrosion, keep the engine clean, and that sort of thing. I mean, that's what you're paying for in the high mileage. You're paying for these additives that are time released for your engine. I mean, that's essentially what you're paying for. Okay, that's the main thing. And then on top, let me put the anti-drainback valve over here. On the top here, there's a bypass valve or bypass spring. Every filter has them. Every oil filter pretty much has them because it's recommended or required by the manufacturer of your vehicle. The whole point about this little sucker is if the filter ever gets clogged and now it starts to inhibit the flow rate of oil, this little valve opens up on top. As you see, you have a little spring here. Okay, so this little spring would open up on top, and it would still allow oil to flow into the motor. So the filtering obviously wouldn't be getting as much filtering, but it doesn't allow the motor or the engine to starve of engine oil. So it's a safety feature. And again, every filter I've ever opened up, they all have them. And again, it's usually recommended or required by the manufacturer of your car. So again, here's your Tough Guard, and here's your Ultra Synthetic. Now the main difference between these two guys, as you can see, both of these guys have the silicone anti-drainback valve. Looks to be the exact same component, but again, look at the media difference. Now this guy, chances are, will be wire backed, and what I mean by that, we're going to cut this open, and inside here we'll probably find, yeah, I can actually see it already. If you take a look inside here, you'll see that this will be wire backed. Wire backed is a nice component in oil filters because it helps keep the structure of the filter. In other words, it won't collapse in. If you're familiar with filters for your furnace, for your home, on the more expensive filters you'll find a nice screen, a metal screen, and so it keeps that form of the filter. Same point here. It's the exact same point that we have here. But just look at the construction here. Again, this is around $9, this one. But metal end caps, good up to 15,000 miles, 99% efficiency. The center tube is metal. Just the construction is, it's very, very nice. It's a nice construction. This guy is also a media, a synthetic media, but the difference is this is a double layer wire back. This is not wire backed and it's not double layered. That's the main difference. So at least it gives you an idea of what you're paying for when you buy oil filters. And again, when we looked at the Wix XP, for example, Amsoil, Royal Purple, they all have wire backing. So it's pretty cool when you start cutting open different filters, just see what they have, what they don't have, their efficiency rating, and that sort of thing. So at least it gives you a pretty good idea of what you can expect here. So again, just quickly go over before we start cutting open the filter and taking some measurements. 95, 95, 99, 99% efficiency rating, okay? Again, these two look to be identical, except that you get the nice additives, the time-release additives. Again, designed for engines over 75,000 miles. Conventional motor oil, conventional or high mileage. Premium conventional or synthetic or fully synthetic motor oil with this guy right over here. Again, your anti-drainback valves. You have rubber. This guy is silicone. Whatever, you get the point, right? This guy's silicone. Oh boy. And mileage again, 5,000, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 miles. So let me clean this up. Let's start cutting up in the filters. We'll take some measurements just to see what the square inches is regarding the surface area. And hopefully this gives you a pretty good idea if you're not sure where you want to go the next time you purchase an oil filter. Maybe this helps you pinpoint exactly the way you want to go. Okay, let me clean this up. Very quickly, I just forgot to mention about the base plate and the inlet holes. And as you can see, they all look to be exactly the same. Same number of inlet holes. The diameter seems to be the same among all four. So if you're curious about that, they all look to be exactly the same. Okay, so once we open up the media, cut it open, spread it out on the bench, this is what we have. Now, very quickly, every filter here is made for the exact same vehicle. So we're not mixing and matching different vehicles. We have a solid baseline. Every one here is made for the exact same vehicle. Now, the interesting thing is, take a look at the Ultra Synthetic. It happens to be the shortest of the bunch. terms of square inches, around 53 square inches. But because it's using this dual layer synthetic material, and the wire backing keeps on going. It might just, as you can see, I cut it off by accident there. But nevertheless, because it uses this this dual layer synthetic material, you get 99% filtration efficiency and good up to 15,000 miles. For the money, it's a very good filter in terms of what you get, for sure. Other filters that have wire backing is Wix XP, Amsoil Royal Purple. They also have wire backing as well. Amsoil Royal Purple can be close to $20. But nevertheless, this is, I tell you, for the money, again, you get a lot of bang for your buck. Also, if you're curious, again, metal end caps, and right in there, you can see exactly the wire backing. So really, in essence, this really would be a little bit more in terms of square inches. I just can't, when I cut this open, there's no way I can cut it from down here. So I'm just cutting it right at the level here. But that being said, gives you a pretty good idea of what we have. Now the Extra Guard and the high mileage, to me, it's the exact same filter. Again, the media looks, the length is exactly the same, the width is exactly the same, around 99 square inches. Again, the main difference is you get the additive for engines over 75,000 miles. That's the biggie between these two filters. End caps look to be exactly the same. Metal tube, the bypass spring, the anti-drain back valve, everything looks exactly the same. Again, this is the big thing. That's where you're paying almost twice as much as for that little component right there. And then you have the Tough Guard. Take a look at the Tough Guard. It's the longest one here. This was around 120, 123 square inches of surface area. Again, 99% efficiency, good up to 10,000 miles. And yeah, so pretty cool stuff once you lay everything out here. You know, it gives you an idea. So the next time you change oil on your vehicle, maybe you're running over to the Extra Guard, but for another $1 you can get the Tough Guard. Or maybe if you just want to spend a couple more bucks, you can get the Ultra Synthetic, you know. For also one quick thing before we wrap this up, I did purchase all these on Amazon. All four of these together I think were around $32. So I think this was like 5, this was 10, and then this was 6. So that's 21. And this was, I think, 9. So it was around 30 bucks plus tax. It was around 32 bucks. So it gives you a pretty good idea, I think, what you can expect here. So thank you for watching. If you want to see other oil filters, please leave a comment. I do have other ones coming up. I do read the comments. Pure Leader, I know a lot of people want to see, so we'll have that pretty soon. And we'll just keep on adding to the list here, on the playlist here regarding the oil filter comparison. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.